Welcome to the DevReady podcast. Joining me on the DevReady podcast today, I have Con Sotidis. Con, I've known him for a couple of years. We've gone back and forth and kept in touch. But I thought we'll bring him on the podcast, learn a bit more about him and the value of like LinkedIn and your profile and some things that I've seen firsthand. So, Con, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Anthony, and thank you for having me. Yes, we have been communicating for quite a while. I've loved the work you guys do, and I'm always interested and always keep an eye on what DevReady is doing. Yeah, I'm Con. My company's name is called Social Selling Warrior. That's the organisation's name. We've been around for quite a while now. It's probably the last 10 years, but I've been sort of in and out of the business due to sort of picking up some sort of contract roles. But now I'm finally focusing on the business. What we do, Anthony, is we focus on ensuring that people have strong profiles on LinkedIn and that can then leverage that profile to gain opportunities. And the word social selling warrior actually comes from LinkedIn's concept of social selling, which is the way we approach LinkedIn and how we actually interact, converse, and create our profile on LinkedIn in order to gain opportunities.
And for anyone in business, everyone has a LinkedIn profile. They're probably not using it right. But before we dive into the LinkedIn side, what was a bit of your background that got you out on your own working on social selling work? It's always good to know that story.
Yeah, look, it doesn't show, but I'm a qualified accountant, and so I kept that as a secret. Also, kept a secret that I worked for the tax office for 30 odd years. But
Oh, wow.
I was in the tax office, but I managed to sort of realise eventually, and you can see from the way I am, Anthony, I'm a people person, so
Yeah.
I wasn't into the sort of that area. I suppose. When we were growing up, we did a lot of the things that we thought were right at that time, and also advice from our parents and other cousins and friends and so forth. But I eventually realised that I was a people person, and then I moved into the HR space and did that for about 10 years, again in the tax office, and I became a director of learning and development. So I've got a very diverse career. I mean, an accountant, and then I went to HR. I've got a certificate for in training and assessment. I've done a lot of learning development, a bit of e-learning, learning management systems. So I've got a very diverse background. And then along came Mr. Abbott back in those days, and he said, "Okay, the public service, we're going to have to cut the costs." So I said, "Hey, I'm over here, Tony. I'm over here. Show me the
Put your hand up and
show me the money." So I was at that stage where I was very close to retirement anyway.
yep.
So I said, "Yep, I'm going to take this opportunity." So I decided to take my voluntary redundancy from the tax office and moved out into my own. But because I was a public servant, I had not actually done much in a point way of selling. I knew how to connect, I knew how to network, but I had not much in selling space. And as you know, sales is a different mindset. So I was very lucky. A very fortunate person came in my life and part of the organisation, and she said to me, "I will make you a salesperson as long as you continue doing what you're really good at, which is networking, communicating, reaching out." So I ended up becoming what they call these days a BDM,
Hmm.
and did BDM work for a number of years. But this is the most important thing of all. In that time, I was becoming a BDM. I was very active on social, and in the earlier days, I was very active on that former known as ex Twitter. I had a massive following. But then someone showed me LinkedIn, and I go, "Wow, this is awesome." Now, LinkedIn in the past, Anthony, we knew it as one of those places you'd go to look for a job. You'd put up your
Yep.
profile, someone would headhunt you, recruit, and it still is a very much a highly active recruitment platform. But what's happened in my time during that using LinkedIn, it's morphed into what we call a B2B, a networking, a professional networking platform. And what I saw LinkedIn and what it can do, it just helped me so much in my BDM roles, in any role I did. I was able to prospect effectively, connect, create relationships, and still a lot of those people are still connected to me. We're still keeping in touch, even though I've moved industries. So for me, that's where I got into LinkedIn. I got myself trained, I got myself qualified, went to a couple of courses, really got into it big time, did a lot of research. And look, no matter how much research you do, you never really know the final sort of algorithm of how LinkedIn works because LinkedIn changes the algorithm every week.
Yep.
But we all try to understand it, we all try to test it, and we all sort of have a good idea about what works, what doesn't work, and you continue doing your research and testing, and you finally going to help your clients get some action on LinkedIn. So that's my story. I hope that gives you a bit of a summary.
Yeah, I didn't know your actual background, so it's quite a long career you had then outside of this
Yeah,
space and on your own.
yeah.
Did you have a mind to go out on your own through the BD side, or was it before that?
Along, you know what? I suppose again it comes back to the cultures we grow up. You know, when you're in a public service, you got a good job, son, don't leave it. You know, you got a family, you got regular income. It was one of those things that you sort of felt like, you know, you had an obligation to ensure you had that security. But once I
Hmm.
found that I wasn't in that space anymore, I was really eager to do something. You know, we always wanted to explore business, always wanted to explore what it'd like to be a startup, what it'd like to be in some of your own business, what it'd like to be your own boss, to be able to do the things you want to do, not be constrained. I was
Yep.
very constrained in the public service environment because with a lot of security constraints and all, wasn't able to bring a lot of innovation because we had a lot of security and rightly so, rightly so. We're dealing with, you know, major taxpayer data, so rightly so.
Yep.
But being able to go my own business, I was able to innovate. I was able to be creative. I was able to explore more, and that gave me. That's something I've always wanted to do. So, yeah, I was really keen to do something eventually.
Yep. I think I was a bit fortunate in my scenario because I started this business when I was in uni, my final year of uni.
Oh yeah,
So my dad was a bricklayer working on his own. So I had that sort of
me
not
too.
working for someone. My mum was in corporate.
Yeah,
But they didn't have an issue with me trying. My yeah was saying, go
yeah,
get a job.
exactly.
Don't worry
So,
about that.
yeah,
Get paid
yeah,
as you would expect. But
yeah.
it's worked out luckily for me. I've been able to have that sort of creativity and that ability to go on my own. But I didn't know what I was doing. I probably still don't know what I'm doing. You learn as you go every day.
You do, mate. You
I don't
do.
claim to know it much. I like to say I know a lot about nothing. I know little bits and pieces about a lot of stuff, but it's always a challenge in business, and you're always learning.
Yeah,
That never stops. So I can see how that probably enticed you to go out on your own where you didn't have that ability in the tech space. And if you were outside of the HR space, it's probably just trying to keep up with the tax legislation as it's
correct.
changing
Yeah.
was probably the most creative
But
bit you had.
we were trained technical operatives, so we had to keep
Yeah.
across the technical aspects, even though we're just trainers. We didn't have to administer it, but we had to train the people in touch to administer the law.
Yeah. And then you wouldn't have had much creativity or flexibility in there. People, say there's a certain type of person that is an accountant.
Yes, yeah, yeah, it's right. There is, it is, and I was
Yeah.
one of those. But the good thing with me is I discovered myself around halfway through my career and said, no, I need to have a change. I need to have a look at what I'm good at.
Yep.
And I think I really found my new way of new life in that I realised I was a people person.
Hmm.
And I remember those days. I don't know if you ever come across a Myers-Briggs
Yeah.
score,
The
which
Myers
was
Briggs, the
yeah. And then I
personality
did that
tests.
first profile personality, and I found out I was one of those extroverts that go, wow, this is it. I am really one of those extroverts. I really need to go explore this a bit further, and
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Because then that puts you in your comfort zone. You work
Exactly.
better. You get in that flow state easier, and you'll
Correct.
get better results.
Correct.
Yeah, no one likes doing the things they don't like doing,
Exactly right.
if that
But
makes
but
sense.
sometimes we have to do those things
Of
because
course.
we have that security. Yeah.
Yeah. And that comes then to like, all right, maintaining a LinkedIn profile. No one wants to do it, but it's one of those things that's important that you need to keep
Correct.
going.
That's a really good one segue, Anthony. I love that because
I've been doing this for a while.
I suppose when you're in business, you're focusing on a lot of things, and you know this better than me because you've been probably in business longer than me. But you're focusing on, a team, having a team. You're focusing on getting your systems, your processes, your culture, and all that. And sometimes you're not focused on yourself as the individual. And
Hmm.
I find with a lot of business owners that they're very much busy working in the business and not on the business. And now there's a real distinction in that they work in the business in that they are very much hands-on in, maybe on the tools, or maybe very much hands-on with the staff, but they haven't had the ability to be able to project, to be able to amplify what their business does and to be able to get out there and promote it a lot more. Now, it
Hmm.
is a dilemma that a lot of small business owners especially face in that they haven't got that capacity. But what we find is with LinkedIn, when you create a powerful profile, I call it powerful, there's a number of words we can use. Kick ass is another one. But anyway, a really good profile, you can leverage that profile for your business and for yourself to be able to then gain more conversations for people to come into your sphere and to be able to see what you actually do,
Hmm.
practically. So
Yeah.
that's where I think LinkedIn is very much an undervalued, or maybe not undervalued, but an underrated tool. Um, Facebook is for a different type of clientele and a different sort of purpose. We'll use Facebook for a lot of conversation with friends and family, and some are using it for business. And there is a lot of validity for Facebook for business. And I'm not here to can that side because I know there is for certain industries.
It
Facebook
works.
business is great. But if
Yeah.
you're into a B2B environment, a professional B2B environment, so talk about an accountant, a lawyer, a finance broker, a mortgage broker, a developer. Their own business. So someone like me who does social media management, all that sort of stuff. When you look to develop business to business relationships, LinkedIn is the most powerful platform. I was reading the study the other day, and it's actually getting more popular and a lot more traction out there with people.
Yeah. Do you feel it's sort of lost some of that networking ability and it's turned more into like a Facebook feed with everyone just posting stuff or trying to put inspirational quotes or like just some crap post that
Yeah.
AI is written for them now?
Look, AI is changing the whole world. It's whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn, it's changing the whole world. And I hand up, and like you, I use AI. No, we're not going to lie about it, but we have to customize it and make sure our brand and tone is actually conveyed. I think you're right about how it's becoming a bit of that Facebook thing with the feed. Now, LinkedIn, like Facebook, has got to make money, so they will sell ads. And there's a lot of ads coming through at the moment, you'll see, and they have to make. But what I like about LinkedIn is that at the moment, the way the algorithms working is those people that are engaging and are in conversation on various posts are getting the most traction. And at the moment, also what LinkedIn's using its own private proprietary AI to actually now push posts that have got value add. So those generic type of posts you're talking about, those sort of more promotional ones, they're getting less traction. Okay. What we're seeing is if you're providing value add, like information that's going to be value for someone, and people are interacting with that, LinkedIn is going to push you a lot more out there in the big wide world. So the aim, what we're doing now, is trying to get a lot more value add posts and also getting our clients to interact with posts. So not only on their own posts, but also on other posts. So there is a classic, they call it the golden hour of LinkedIn. So when you write a post, if someone is interacting with your post, you need to get back in there within the first hour to interact with them. Otherwise your post will lose traction. If you do that, LinkedIn algorithm says, hey, conversation happening here. We need to push this out further. So it's called the golden hour. It's something for your viewers, opposed to listeners to take up. Interact with posts or your own posts within the first hour. You get interaction on your post, get back in there, get those notifications, pinging you to let you know someone's made a comment, and get in there and respond. Because once you do that, the algo says, love it, keep going.
Yep. Okay, so you have to respond. It's not just post and ghost, as they say.
Yeah, and also, by the way, don't just give a like and all that. If you're going to give something of value, say if I see something from Anthony, I really want to support this, I'm going to write 3 or 4 or 5 words. I'm not going to say like or great share, Anthony. Say, great share, Anthony. I really like the way you've positioned this. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'd love to hear more from you or whatever.
Yep.
Have a conversation, because LinkedIn's algorithm is now saying, great share, I don't know. Thanks for sharing. I don't know. I want to see a conversation. I want to see interest. I want to see engagement. And that's what's going to drive your post a lot further.
Yeah. We post between 1 to 3 pieces of content a day, probably, with our team and from all the podcasts and everything that we do. But I don't get a lot of activity. But the value we see from it is we talk to clients or prospective clients like, I've seen your posts a lot, but no one ever interacts with it. They don't like it. They don't do anything.
Yeah. That's why it's important to look at your impressions. Have a look at your impressions, because impressions will tell you how many times it's appearing in the feed. So impressions are very valuable. Although not a great analytical tool, they are valuable in telling you how many times your post has appeared in the feed of other people. Now, they engage. I get the same thing, Anthony. I get the same thing when someone says, I've seen you on LinkedIn. I said, I don't remember you liking all that.
But thanks for engaging.
Thanks. I said, next time, just give me some words, will you? Or next time, just share it or repost it, whatever you can if you liked it. Give me something, The other thing is important too is if people say, I think once or twice of yours or others, I've saved them. When they save your post, because I save things to come back to, that's also very, very powerful. And the algorithm says, if this person saved it, they value this, let's keep this one going further.
Yeah, it's a strong indicator.
Yeah.
What I've seen from our posting and what got the most amount of views, I started putting videos of people getting hurt and like fails. You might have seen them. Those, one of them had 15,000 views compared to my normal 600.
Yeah.
And that's just because I think it was grabbing people's attention. They were stopping to watch it.
Yeah.
But no one engaged. So it wasn't the right content.
That's what we're seeing at the moment. What we're seeing at the moment is video is going gangbusters. I'm just trying to get some stats up here that I saw recently. But video is really, really doing very, very well. Video at the moment is something that people should be exploring. Video is something that people should be doing on a regular basis. Even like just I know it's a bit hard sometimes, especially people that are shy and a bit not courageous. Maybe you and I just get your phone out, one of those sort of what they would call a TikTok style video. Hey,
Yep.
it's Con here or it's Anthony here. Just let you know, guys, today we're having a great session. Blah blah blah. We're doing this today, or just 1 minute. They work in very very well. Just a bit of an update, and so forth. And the other trick I'll provide to your viewers is, if you're connecting with someone and you're finding it's hard to get that connection, you can send a video in that DM,
Okay, I haven't done that yet.
or not the connection request, but in the DMs.
Yeah.
Once you're connected with someone, hey, Anthony, thanks for accepting my connection. Really look forward to hearing more about you. Send it as a video. When Anthony sees you as a person and sees you on video, what's the first thing Anthony says? Hey, this guy's a real person, not a salesperson.
Yep.
Here to sell me something. This guy's genuine. Bang.
It's going to be a better response than all the canned emails you get, or in my
People are
case,
using
it's
video enough, Anthony. Sorry, yes,
yeah.
people are using video enough.
No, they're not. And going back a few years, I didn't want to make videos. I didn't like my sound. If people listening to this have heard this 100 times. Like, I didn't like the sound of my own voice, so I hated making videos. And then one day I read, it's you're the only person who cares, and no one else is going to notice. I heard that. I read that quote somewhere, and then that just stuck with me. Next day, I started making videos.
Correct.
And then it's been 7 years or 6 years now. I've been doing it. And there's probably
Correct.
1,000 videos online of me now. But it's a good way to put content out, and it helps you just get a quick idea out. It's easier than writing.
It's much easier. Much easier. You're right. Yeah. And you can actually convey your message in a more emotional,
Yep. More relatable.
More believable,
easier
more
to understand.
more credible. More credible. And I know you talked about those generic sort of posts that come out, promotional. But imagine if you do a promotional type of video with you talking. Say, hey guys, we've got a great offer for you this month. We are really keen to see you explore AI a lot more. Come and join us. We'll do a strategy session for you for free or something like that. Yeah, That's genuine. When you put that as a LinkedIn post, it doesn't come. But when I hear the person, the owner, the CEO, the BDM talk about that, I go, wow, these people are genuine.
Yeah. I even, like I mentioned before, we started, just giving you an update, saying we started some Facebook advertising. And when I speak to the leads, if Andrew, my business partner, doesn't get to them, I ask them, how did they find us and what did they see? Just so I can understand what's working in the ads.
Correct.
And one of them said, oh, you came across as genuine. So we actually had that feedback. So it does work. It makes a big difference.
How powerful is that? You come across as genuine, mate. That's so powerful.
Yeah, and it made the difference. You know it's working. You know that what you're saying is cutting through. It doesn't look like bullshit that you're just saying something for the sake of saying it. The way you're saying, you're articulating it well. You know your stuff.
And you know what? And it goes back to what we were saying about in the past with our cultures and our backgrounds. I know if you grew up in the same, you probably didn't. Most likely, we always had drummed into us. And it's probably it's broader than just our culture. It's every culture. They say to your parents or your grandparents, say, all you have, Anthony, is your name. All you have, Anthony, is your good name. Whatever you do in life, make sure you always retain your name. We were always told about never do anything stupid or crazy because there'll be shame upon the family and the name will be shamed. And that's why I see LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your brand. What you have is your name on LinkedIn. Once that is tarnished, it's tarnished. But if you maintain that and you continue to nourish that and continue to update that, that is your brand. And wherever you go, so you're currently at DevReady, you're currently a social selling warrior, but you might get a job somewhere else. You take that brand with you, you provide that brand to their organization and provide that, that sort of exposure. But what you do have at the end of the day is your brand. I'm Con, I'm a social selling warrior. Next week it might be Con, DevReady, whatever, But that's going to be my branding. So focus on your branding. Your personal brand is so important in this world of confusion, this world of not understanding what you do, your personal brand. That's why I say the first thing you do on LinkedIn is start with your profile. Look at your profile. That is your brand. That is your business card. I don't give business cards out anymore. Not many people do.
Yep.
I know it's a bit of a routine these days.
I used to have a collection of them years ago, but nothing now.
People say, you got a business card? Yep, here's my LinkedIn. Bang.
Yep.
Scan this code. Bang. That's my business card. That's it. That's my business card. Because when you go there, you see who I am, you see what I do, you see what value I add, bang. And then you start scrolling down and get more information. And that's why personal branding is going to become so popular for us to be able to distinguish ourselves. And the word I use is you need to make yourself memorable. Once you're memorable, like you now, Anthony, you were saying to me before, people come to you guys because of word of mouth. Because you're memorable. You've delivered. You've given them what they want. You've been able to support them. You're memorable. If you become memorable, yeah, the doors will open.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense because then you're top of mind. People remember you if they keep seeing your content. Again, you just get brought top of mind again, and it
Correct.
always comes back. So, what are some tips then for working on the profile? Because I've always just done some things that I know, and then AI's come around, and I haven't updated it in probably a year and a half now.
Yeah,
And I've
yeah.
got ChatGPT 3 to work some stuff out for me and improve things. But what do you recommend, or what is the approach to take?
You want me to share? Just look at my profile. You want me to share
Yeah,
that with you? Just I think
go
if
for
I
it.
if I share
Yeah,
my profile, then people can look at some of the things I'm doing.
yeah, not a problem.
You happy with that? Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
this goes on YouTube, so if you want to share the actual screen, you can do that
Yeah.
too.
I
Like,
can share the screen. Yep. I'm
so
just
if
going
you're
to.
listening, this is going to be a component where you might want to jump onto YouTube and check it out. But yeah, we'll go through it and we'll talk through all the things anyway, so you'll
Yeah.
get some of the content out of it.
So that's me. That's my profile, right? So this is where I'll dissect it for you. I can do it with your profile, but I think it's just probably fair to do with my
Yep.
profile. But first thing you got to see is there's a very clear brand on top. You can see that helping BDMs is a small business. And what I've got, because I've got premium, I've got a scrolling brand. Right, when you've got the
Okay, I didn't
premium
know you could do
version.
that, even though I've got it.
Yeah, when you got the premium version. So if you haven't done that, Anthony, yet, if you've got a premium
Yeah,
one,
I'm going to have
have a
to.
look at that. Yeah. What you can do is you add a couple of there and they scroll, get out about 3 or 4, I think, and they
Okay.
scroll. That's good because, as you know, with anything on social, if you've got engagement, if you've got something scrolling, people stop and look. All right, so that's scrolling there. But more importantly, as you see that scrolling, you read things. See things
Yep.
BDM small business owners attract. Right, brand new lead generation. All right, good. Okay. The other thing you see is my logo is always really relevant on the top corner there. Always
Yep.
there. Branding is you. You see me now, I'm always wearing my brand. You see me there, I'm always wearing the brand. Because people need to start associating you with the name. So when I go to places and people say, "Oh, the Warrior's here." Okay, yeah, the Warrior is here. The Warrior's in town. That's it. Because they know me as a Warrior, and I've got
Yep. Yep.
a
So you got that
newsletter called the
association, that
Weekly
brand.
Warrior. That's right. So the Warrior is in town. So that's important. That means that it's working. I don't care what they call me, but they call me the Warrior. I love it. That means it's working. Okay, so what we want to do now is, I'll get rid of that. You see there, this is where people fail the most. The other things is just quickly is your picture. What you can see me on the screen, Anthony, is what you see there. Okay, I'm wearing glasses now,
Yep.
but you want to see someone with a currency. Now, we have a lot of people, sadly, pictures of the wedding or pictures that went to their cousin's wedding. There's a picture there
Yep.
with a little flower on the lapel. No, no, no. Get the wife, get the missus, get your friend, put you up against a white wall. Take a nice picture above the shoulders. Always like that, a bit tilty because the tilting shows you sort of looking across, bit of a smile. See, that's kind of the friendly person. You go, geez, this guy looks friendly. He's got a smile. He's happy to help me. All right. And the other thing is your name. Now, with the name, make sure you are keeping it to your name only. Con, the legend, Satitas doesn't go because LinkedIn doesn't say, mate, that's not your name.
Yep.
There's a
So
famous
mine.
story of a lady in the UK
Yep.
who had a unicorn. So she would put her first name, unicorn, and her surname. LinkedIn pinned her and suspended her account because LinkedIn said that's not your real name. So what did she do? Because she had that as a brand, she went and changed her name to blah,
Oh wow.
blah. And then LinkedIn got that as a verification. Yeah, yep, now you can use it.
So mine would fail that then. So my first name is Anthony Sapunzis, and my surname is AI driven specialist.
Yeah, well, that's up to you. All right. So
Yeah.
look, LinkedIn doesn't really focus on it a lot, but that's the way. If you look at the terms of use, only your full
Yeah.
name is
Okay.
allowed.
I didn't know that.
Right? I'm just giving you the terms of use and what it's
Yep.
allowed and what's not. Now, the most important part here is this.
The tagline.
First thing you should do one day is go to an incognito browser and Google your name. If your LinkedIn profile doesn't come in the first 1 or 2, 3 results, and most likely you will. 99% of the time it will. But also what you'll find is when LinkedIn and when you search stuff on Google, these sort of words will come through in the Google results. So Google loves LinkedIn, LinkedIn loves Google. And what they do is they share that, but also what will come through will be that profile headline. Now you'll see in there's nothing like CEO of this. Doesn't say co-founder, doesn't say CEO, doesn't say director, doesn't say, it just says what value I add. LinkedIn AI strategists, brand new, helping business owners, coaches, consultants, and BDMs build awesome personal brands. So as soon as you see, they go, yep, I know what this guy does. Most people will leave it as CEO, we'll leave it as founder, we'll leave it at, but if I want to see that, all I've got to do is go to your experience section down the bottom here.
Yeah, and it's listed in your role.
Exactly. We all put it in the role. So why would I waste valuable LinkedIn space by putting that in my profile headline. Unless, and that's what happens. These people that have that in their profile headline, I bet you 99% of the time they get hit with selling spam on their inbox.
Probably.
Because what people do is they do a search for founder, find all the founders on LinkedIn, hit them with a spam inbox.
Yep.
This is the way you don't get that, all right? So focus, and this is where AI is your best friend. Tell AI a bit about you, what you do, what do you focus on, who's your ideal client, and say, give me a profile headline, and then start working with that to manage it with your tone, with your voice, with your perspective to make sure it fits your needs. All right, that's a key one there. That's one you should always that. This is what I say: your banner, your picture, and your profile headline. 3 key components of your profile. The other ones you can start thinking about are your about section. Mm-hmm. The about section tells you a bit more about. This is where you can start saying what you've done. There's a guy called Alex Hormozi. We all know Alex Hormozi.
Yep.
That guy who wears the little nose clip.
Yep.
He talks about proof over promise. We all can promise the world. Show me the money. Prove it to me. So, this is me saying I've won awards. Our company's won a couple of awards. My strategies have helped, 10-point increase in profile views, Show me, demonstrate the value you add, but also give me some proof. Then the rest of it, feature section activity, I won't go into that. Activity, I'll just say one thing, like you guys do, post on a regular basis. One per day, 3 to 5 a week. Do that, you'll see the difference. Now, most important, and also I'll finish off with the most important section of all in the LinkedIn profile, and I don't know why LinkedIn has it at the bottom, and which is disappointing. I have written to LinkedIn about this, but it probably went into all the other feedback sections I got.
Yep.
But again, going back to Alex Hormozi, proof over promise is this area here, recommendations. This is where someone is prepared to put their name on the line to vouch for you and your services. Whenever I go to work with someone, I'll look at their profile. When someone sends me a connection request, the first thing I'll do is look at that, maybe read the about section, and then they go bang, straight down. I just go with the mouse all the way down. Yep. I want to see the recommendations. Who have they worked for? Who are some of the clients that are prepared to talk about them? And what we can do, this is the beauty of LinkedIn. This could be a fake person. No, they're not, because when you click on that person there, you actually can go in and say, hey, Raya, you recommended Con. Tell me more about him. What did he do for you? How did he help you? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's different to a testimonial on the website.
Exactly, but it's a valid one. It's not a fake profile. It's valid. It's there. It's a real person. You see where I'm coming from, Anthony? So This is where people fail to recognise how valuable this can be in relation to what they do with their profile.
Yep.
Focus on your profile, but then also focus on who you are, what you do. Give us a nice profile headline. But then, if you haven't got them, go out and start getting recommendations. People you've worked for, clients, associates, friends. Just say, hey, we did this project together. Can you give me a recommendation?
I find it a struggle sometimes to get people to do the recommendations.
Not
everyone wants to do them. I don't know why. But they're happy to leave you a testimonial. I'm not sure.
There's also the law of reciprocity. So what I say to people is, if they come to me and say, yeah, I'll give you one, I'll say, this is why I try to work the algorithm, say, okay, in a couple of months, I'll make a diary entry, I'll give you one. Now, I don't want to make it at the same sort of time. I try to spread them around.
Yeah.
But more reciprocity. So I got the Mayor Manahan gave me a review. A friend of mine gave some basic AI training too. Mm-hmm. She was able to give me a review and so forth. So these are very, very important. And try to get them every 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
Because it shows you're current. It shows you're doing some stuff out there.
That makes sense.
If it was May, I'll probably, over the next couple of months, try to get another one.
Yeah, I haven't gotten one in probably years now.
Size enough. The about section is important. Look, the other stuff is important too, but the about section is very important. Posting is very important. And also your profile headline.
Yep.
They're the components. Because social selling is about a profile. It's about then connecting with the right people. That's where those connections come in. The third aspect is about content, creating content, insights.
Yep.
Sharing what you're doing. See, this is the business breakfast I go to every month. This is about me supporting those providers and so forth. And the last one is nurture, nurture, nurture. Hey, Anthony, it's been a while since we've spoken. How are you? Just checking in to see how things are.
Yep.
That's what it is. You're not selling. And this is what I say to people, Anthony, never, ever, 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 and I sell on LinkedIn. Although it says social selling warrior, never, ever sell on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is about relationships. It's about connections. It's about collaboration. Once you get them into a coffee meeting, once you get them to a Zoom meeting, the first thing you say to them is, Anthony, tell me more about what you do. And Anthony goes on and tells you what he does. You go, great. I can see some opportunities here. And what's the next thing Anthony says? Hey, Con, what do you do?
Yeah. And that's what how we actually met. I messaged you on LinkedIn.
Exactly right.
To run through that process. It's not selling, because as soon as you get salty, you just close the message. You don't even respond.
Exactly. But see, what I'm trying to emphasize here, Anthony, is permission. Once you've got permission grants you to do a pitch.
Yep.
Before you get that permission, don't pitch.
Yeah, it's like going on a date. Same thing. You got to get to know the person and see if you're compatible.
Exactly. That's our tips. That's my tips on LinkedIn. They're the key tips. If you can take those and do those in your profile over the next couple of weeks, you will definitely get some traction as people start looking at your profile.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to review mine and give it an overview, because it's been a while, and your advice makes a lot of sense with what I was trying to do. I think I might change my name back. I know when someone is writing me like a spam message, when they write my full name and it's got the tagline after it without actually reading it properly.
Correct. That's right. Some people used to put an emoji at the end of it, because when they write a spam message, it picks up the emoji. So
you got to pay attention to that if you're sending messages to people.
Exactly
so we get all our guests on LinkedIn, but I actually pay attention to what it says, and I try and delete that so it looks like it's that.
Correct.
So mine actually says Anthony Sapunzas is my first name, and then AI-driven solutions fueling your business success as my surname.
Yeah. Look,
so that is a huge tag. Every time someone tags me in the message or something, it takes up the whole space.
Again,
that was the purpose of
it's
doing
a good
that.
strategy you're using. Just be careful, because LinkedIn may one day come knocking.
Yep. I think I might change it.
No, but you know what you can do? I'll show you just quickly where you can do that. I'll tell you what you can do, all right? I'll give you a really good, this is a value tip that you're going to love, and maybe your viewers will love too. What you can do is, I'll bring up your profile, Anthony, and I'll show you what you can do.
Go for it. Another trick I used to do was I put a blue circle or a ring around my profile photo. So whenever you saw it, it stood out a little bit different from everyone else's.
That could work. So you would have noticed in here, so you got that. What you can do is, I'll go back to my one. I'll just show you. So have a look at yours here, right?
Yep.
Well, there's the pronouns, he, him, she, her.
Oh, so in that
There's
space.
also a custom one. It says custom.
Oh, okay.
Under custom, you can use a number of characters to put it in there, and that's legal. That's okay. So you see mine.
I'll use that then.
You see what mine said? Have a look at mine when I show you mine. Remember, just pay a little attention to what it says after my name.
It does make sense that you can put something custom in there. So that's another
because
good
they've got the he, she, he, her.
Yep.
But then they've got another third one that says custom. There it is.
Yep.
Okay. Personal branding. So I would have put that whole AI that you have in yours, but put something about that
as
AI,
much as I can fit in that space. Yep.
AI implementation guru or whatever. Yeah, I think of something you could fit in that space.
Yep.
Say personal branding. I could put here LinkedIn guru or something like that. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. It's
But
another good little tip.
So I thought I'll leave that out. Yeah. So that's what I would do. So use the pronouns.
Yep.
And that's a legal way of putting something extra on your profile.
Will do. Because the last thing you want is your account getting banned or suspended for something similar like that, because it's a trivial thing to you, but it is going against their terms. So it is a possibility.
Say to yourself one day, but I've seen these guys, I've seen this, I've seen you. Yeah.
They don't care.
Say to people, yes, okay. I'm just saying to you what the terms of use say. That's all.
Yeah, and most people wouldn't even know that.
Yeah, exactly. When you sign up terms of use, it says your full name will be acceptable.
Yeah. Well, Con, it's been a pleasure taking you through that, and thank you for those tips, and I'll definitely use them. I'll go do an update today. If anyone wants to have a chat with you or reach out, how can they do that? I'm sure LinkedIn's the best way.
Yeah, LinkedIn is the way, mate. LinkedIn is the vehicle. Or send me an email at info@socialsellingwarrior.com. Check out our website, socialsellingwarrior.com. But just go to LinkedIn, search for Concertatus or search for Social Selling Warrior. Hopefully my name will come up. I'm pretty sure it will. It will come up in the top results there, and go from there. And drop me a message. Tell me where you see me. If you see me on Anthony's DevReady post, please let me know, because when I get a connection request for someone I haven't connected with or not in my industry, I sort of start wondering. So if you just say, hey, Con, saw you on the podcast, it'd be great to sort of have that connection. It'd be great to connect and talk more.
Perfect. And we'll put all those links in the notes for everyone. Con, once again, it's been great to catch up and have a chat, and thank you for those tips.
Thank you, Anthony. Thanks very much for having me on.
Thanks. Bye.